So I'm going to run you through the story of why I left a safe, good job for an exciting tech company to start my own business with no planning and not a lot of money saved to get things going. However, this turned out probably to be one of the best decisions I've ever made. So let's rewind 6 years ago. I was working for an exciting tech company in Cambridge. They'd recently had, I think it was about £20 million worth of investment. They were looking to scale the team. They were building some exciting software, and it all seemed like things would be good. On paper, this probably would have been a dream job for a lot of people. I had a lot of autonomy. I could pick and choose my own projects. I could make projects to work on if I wanted to improve my skill set or if I wanted to learn something. It paid well, had a good bonus, and on paper looked like it would be a safe job for a long time. However, after a while, things started to appear not to be as good as what I thought they might be. I realized it's actually going to be quite hard to progress my career in the company, no matter how good I was or how much money I saved them in recruitment fees or how good a person I found and brought into the business and what they added to the business. It really didn't matter. And when I realized that, I knew that I was almost at a dead end kind of straight away. Even though I'd saved the company over, I think it was like £300,000 or £400,000 worth of recruitment fees, there wasn't much hiring going on at the time. There was a slow round of fundraise coming up, and they were thinking, well, if there's not much going on, then, we might have to let you go. So I'm sure you can imagine how I took that news and what I was thinking. Realistically, for me to go and progress my career, I was going to have to go and work for a company in London. So a big tech company like Facebook or Amazon or Goldman Sachs or Boston Consulting, all these companies were approaching me when I was looking to leave. However, I just thought I was going to end up in a similar situation, and I was going to have to spend a lot of money on traveling to London. And I think one of the other things that tipped me over the edge into wanting to go and start my own business and for me to have enough in this company was knowing that it would take me a very long time to save up for a house deposit. Even if I could save £1,000 or £1,500 a month, it would take me years and years and years to get anywhere close to having a half decent deposit to getting a nice house. And that's without legal fees and stamp duty, and then trying to get out the house as well. But yeah, I started to realize my job wasn't actually that safe. Didn't really have much progression. If I wanted to progress, I was going to have to spend a lot of time traveling. And that feeling of knowing that I had to basically rely on loads of other people and I was at the mercy of other companies, it just made me feel terrible and essentially made me feel trapped. So when I weighed everything up and I looked at all this, I just thought I had nothing really left to lose and I had everything to gain. Now, that's not to say that having a business is easy. Obviously, it's very tough, and I learned that the hard way, and I learned that firsthand. Knowing that I could work really hard and either double or triple or even maybe quadruple the salary that I was earning at the time, it just seemed like it was a no-brainer. Now, given the situation, I was pretty sure that I would work a lot harder for my own business rather than for someone else's, especially when there was a risk involved that it couldn't work, and it was all down to me to make sure that things would go well. Even if I earned the same money I was earning before, I knew I would be better off tax-wise, as there's better tax advantages from having your own limited company. And plus I could just march to the beat of my own drum and I wouldn't have to listen to other people, and I would be in control of my own fate rather than relying on other people and companies and all that kind of stuff. So a couple of weeks later, after having these thoughts, so with literally no planning and not much money saved up, I decided to hand in my notice, which came as a bit of a surprise to my manager. Now, they were a little bit shocked and thought, are you sure this is something that you want to do? And it almost made me question myself. But I felt quite strongly about this, and this whole thing was something that I needed to do. Because the way I saw it, I was already dead in the water if I stayed, and I was just going to waste more time, months and years and whatever, just waiting for an opportunity to come up. Because realistically, there wasn't very many opportunities that was going to come up overnight for me. And financially, I couldn't see them giving me an extra 20 or 30 or 40,000 pounds on top of what I was earning at the time. Because I'd sold my house, I used my deposit for cash flow to get me started. I was very keen to make sure that this would work and I could get back to where I was and improve. I also had some credit cards as backup if I needed some extra cash flow in case I couldn't get any clients or someone wouldn't pay me quick enough, because I always knew there was going to be a potential issue of how long would it take for me to get paid and get my first client. Because until you get that first paying client, it all just seems like it's a bit of a game and a myth, and you don't really know what's going to happen. But I would say things definitely felt like they got a lot easier when I got that first client. It was a massive relief and also a massive boost to my confidence, because I knew that now we had something that would work. And I think that's what I really needed at that time, was I needed to feel a release in pressure. And when I got that first client, it was a weight lifted off my shoulders. It gave me so much confidence and it made me think that, yeah, this is possible. Now, obviously, I knew there was still a long way to go, but getting started and getting momentum is really the first thing that you need. And from then on, I carried on slowly expanding and slowly winning more clients and building relationships and filling jobs and delivering what I needed to do, generating fees and sales and getting repeat business. Because it was my own business, I knew how hard it was to get opportunities to try and make money. When I would get given an opportunity to prove myself and show what I could do, I was always very grateful, because I knew how hard it is to win clients. So when I was given those opportunities with new clients, I would do everything I could to make sure I did the best possible job that I could do. Even if that meant I had to work weekends or till 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening to get things done. But once I got past years 1 and 2, things started to get a little bit easier. But now 5 or 6 years later, I'm seeing the rewards of the hard work that I did many years ago, and all the business development and sales calls that I did then are starting to come round and pay dividends, quite literally. When it comes to business, you have to look at these things as a long-term play. I mean, it would be nice to make £1 million in my first month, but realistically, I knew that was probably never going to happen, and it would take me years and years to get to a decent point where I would get so much work that was coming in that I wouldn't know what to do with it. Somewhere between years 5 and 6, I finally hit £1 million worth of sales, which I think is like 1.1 or $1.2 million, which was a significant milestone for me to hit. When I first started, this felt like it was light years away and it would take forever to get to that point. I think one of the key things I learned when I hit that milestone was that it is important just to keep going and have faith that one day you're going to get to where you want to go in your business. All the success I've had with my business is down to probably one thing in particular, and that is years of stacking skills. I made an effort to try and learn from the best people around me, whether it was sales or account management or lead generation, digital marketing, email marketing, finance, accounts, tax returns, management accounts, VAT returns, corporation tax regulations or laws or whatever it's called, bookkeeping. Now, it took me a long time to learn all these things, as I'm sure you can imagine, but I knew this was stuff that I had to learn if I wanted to have a successful business at some point. If you're thinking about setting up your own company and having your own business, then I would say just go for it, because it's worked out quite well for me. And as I said before, this is probably the best decision that I've ever made. And hopefully for you, it could be the best decision that you've ever made too.